Radhe Radhe Shyamji. Okay, good morning, good evening, everyone. A very warm welcome to today's edition of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita. Let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and then we will get underway with our session today. Okay, you're able to see my screen? Audio, video, no issues? Everything
All
looks
good.
fine?
All good.
Great. Okay, we'll get started with our opening prayers then. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurudevo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening, everyone. Let's get started. So today we are on Shloka 4.40. We've been talking, my audio is okay, right? So we've been talking about faith.
Yeah.
Okay. What is faith? What is the importance of faith on this path? And what are the different levels of faith? Also, we spoke about it in great detail. And today we are going to talk about the other aspect of it, yin yang, right? Like a good teacher. Now, Lord Krishna is going to talk about what if you don't have faith? Okay. If you have doubts, if you are skeptical, and if you don't have complete faith, then what happens? So that the concept is covered holistically, and we understand what do we stand to gain when we have faith, and what do we stand to lose if we do not have faith. And that is what we are going to center our discussion around over the next few sessions. I think it will probably take 2 or 3 sessions to talk about this topic, and we will get started. So I'm going to recite it, and then you're welcome to follow along. Agyascha Shraddhanascha Samshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Na Paro Na Sukham Sanshayatmanaha. Okay, it's a very, very important shloka. Okay, it's applied to anyone and pretty much everyone who have not yet perfected their faith, and more so on people who are always ever doubtful about everything. Now, this shloka tackles it very, very clearly, what Lord Krishna talks about it, right? People who trivialize spirituality, or who have absolutely no faith on God, or who have their own, concepts around the divinity, and they are ever doubtful. This shloka is the one that needs to be referred to put that in perspective. Let's take a few hands and then we'll get into the discussion.
Radhe Radhe Shyamji, please go ahead.
Radhe Shyamji.
अज्ञानश्च श्रद्धानश्च संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकस्ति न परो न सुखम संशयात्मनः. राधे राधे.
Radhe Radhe. Very nice. Thank you, Shyamji.
Riya ji,
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Ajnascha Shraddhanascha Sanshayatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Na Paro Na Sukham Sanshayatmanaha.
Wonderful.
Radhe
Very
Radhe.
nice. You, Riya ji. Radhe Radhe. Yes, Sandhya, go ahead.
Agyascha cha shraddhadhansha संशयात्मा विनश्यति नायं लोकोऽस्ति न परो न सुखं संशयात्मनः.
Nice, thank you. It's a bit of a tongue twister. It is Agyascha Shraddhanascha. Go ahead, Avish, Arun.
Arun
Yeah,
ji, Radhe
yeah.
Radhe.
Sorry, I'll rename it. Yeah. Agnyascha shraddhadanascha sansyatma vinashyati nayam lokosti na paro na sukham sanshayatmanah.
Very nice, thank you, Arun. Yes, Samji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Sam ji.
Arjunascha ashraddhanascha sanshayatma vinashyati nayam loko satna pro nasvakham sanshayatmanaha. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. I see 4 participants joining together. And go ahead, please, Shriramya, who's taking lead. I see Chikki, Laddu, Shriramya, and Cash. Please go ahead. We had breakfast not too long back. Go ahead. Go ahead, Shriramya. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Agnyascha Hansha Sansyatma Vinashyati Nayam Lokosti Na Paro Na Sukam Sanshayatmana. Radhe Radhe. Thank
Very
you.
nice. Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Shriramya and Kavita and Seema and Cash. Thank you very much. So let's get started on this shloka. By the way, we all are in Banara retreat right now with Swamiji. So we had a nice walk around the campus in the morning and also went to the room where Maharajji had stayed, soaked in some of the divine vibrations and enjoying the countryside and the amazing atmosphere which is here, right? And it's going to start around noon today. And just had our breakfast, so meeting a lot of familiar faces here, so always good to be here. I see a new face here. All right, so thank you. Let's get started. So I wanted to let you know that the sessions will continue. There'll be a bit of an overlap with Swamiji's lecture, so we'll do a 15-minute overlap and we will cut down the recitation part so that we can go through the content. So instead of 60 minutes, we'll probably wrap up around 45 minutes starting tomorrow, but sessions will continue because the internet is pretty good here. So in this shloka, Lord Krishna is saying, now, like I said, he first spoke about the faith aspect of it, why faith is important, and now he's going to talk about if you don't have faith, what happens. He says, but persons who possess neither faith nor knowledge and who are of a doubting nature suffer a downfall. For the skeptical souls, there is no happiness either in this world or the next. Now, it's a very strong statement. Nayam lokosti na paro na sanchaya na sukho sukham sanchayatmana. They are neither happy in this world, because why they are not happy? Because they have not really put in faith on God, nor thereafter. So unless we have put in 100% faith, this story will continue. Now this goes for the extreme case, people who are skeptical and who don't have faith at all. But if you think about it, it is applicable to each one of us until we have fully surrendered to God or have full faith on God, right? The proportion would vary, but it goes there. And people who trivialize God or don't believe in God or are skeptical about this, this shloka is the ready-made reference for that, what Lord Krishna is talking about. They say they suffer a downfall, and for skeptical souls, there is neither nor happiness in this world or the next. So let's talk about it, but let's begin first with our soul soup segment. So we've been talking about remedy for stress is Karma Yoga, and in continuation of that topic, we will talk about what it means, right? Practicing Karma Yoga. And today we will talk about more about practicing the presence of God. What does it mean? Right? Practice the presence of God in our day-to-day life when we are working, no matter what we are doing. So Maharaj Ji had so beautifully said, he had said this in Bhagavad Gita, 8.7, Lord Krishna is talking about Sarveshu Kaleshu, Mam Anusmara Yuddhascha. Even the instruction to Arjun was that Sarveshu Kaleshu. Sarveshu means throughout, in every moment, you need to think about me and then do the war or do you fight. Now you may wonder, how can Arjun fight the war if Lord Krishna is instructing him to think about him? Can you fight a war and think about God at the same time? It takes your mind space on the task at hand. But that is instruction from Lord Krishna. And Bhagavad Gita is an instruction for all of us. If he's given an instruction to fight the war, we've been given the similar instruction to fight the war of the world or of their mind throughout. And then Maharaj Ji has stated it beautifully in Bhakti Shatak, verse 84, that Man hari mein, tan jagat mein, karam yog yahi jaan. Man hari mein and tan jagat mein. Man hari mein means the mind in God and body in the world. Mind in God, body in the world. That is the concept of Karam Yoga. Okay. So this is the whole concept. In fact, what we need to practice is two things. This is a beautiful thing I like. What do we need to think? God is both my protector and my witness. So having faith that he's my protector, he has my best interests in mind, and he's my witness as well. So when we are walking, when we are eating, when we are thinking, when we are talking, if you have that thing, in fact, you can practice it. If any two people are talking, let's say you're engaging in a dialogue, you could still remember God within. Okay, we think that we have to lend mind space to somebody. Actually, it is not needed. You could still remember God at that time. But when you're doing some sophisticated work, right, you might be a programmer or might be doing some sophisticated work, maybe including a surgery or something like that. Then how do you think about God? So what God is saying, your attachment aspect has to be with me, not that you're thinking about me. Where is your attachment? To God. That is what counts. So I'll tell you, and then you have to practice this consciousness that he's both my protector as well my witness. When you have faith that he's my protector, you'll not have fear, anxiety, and all that stuff. That'll start diminishing. And when you think of him as your witness, then you will not harbor any negative thoughts, ill thoughts, bad thoughts about anybody, because now somebody is watching you. And if somebody is watching you, there are two things. One, of course, is he will not like it. Now you're dirtying your antakaran and you wanted to clean it up so that you could welcome him here. It's like you wanted to welcome a dignitary. You cleaned up that room and now you have dirtied it again. So why would somebody like to do that? Secondly, uh, he's taking account of that as well. It is going to get counted as your karma as well. So you will refrain from having any negative planning, bad planning, bitterness, negative thought about others. So this practice needs to be deepened. And when it comes to Sarveshu Kaleshu, that means at every moment we think our worship is limited to going to a temple or a mosque or a church, and after that God is present only in the place of worship, and after that no matter what you do, you're safe, you're fine. Right now it's time to carry on business as usual. But this attitude actually builds in that consciousness no matter where you are, even when you walk out of temple or your church. It's not limited to that, those four walls alone. So this is the concept. And when we talk about Sarveshu Kaleshu, it's not that you're thinking about God, but at the back of your mind, somewhere that attachment is there. Your mind is riveted to God, or at his lotus feet is essentially what the matter is. I'll tell you another story. I've spoken about it in the past as well to drive home this point. There was a guy who came back from a long stint abroad, and his wife was overjoyed to receive him back. And she prepared some of the choicest of delicacies that he enjoyed. Right. So then she was over the moon, to receive him and to serve him all that she had prepared with love. He ate it. Of course, he liked it. And in his verbal testimonial, he said that, yes, I enjoyed the food. He thoroughly did that. But after a few days, she was not available. So they had to call on their house help, the servant or the cook who would prepare food. He also did the same thing. He prepared food and this guy enjoyed that as well. Now, both the cases, the food was prepared. right? And it was pretty sumptuous. It's not that when Sarvan prepared it, it was not sumptuous. In both cases, it was sumptuous. But the difference in that was the thought process or the feelings that were carried during that process itself. And that became evident when you saw the testimonial of both. When the neighbor asked the wife, how was it preparing food for your husband? She said, I was, overjoyed. I really loved preparing this for him because I know he enjoys it very much. So it was born out of love for the husband. However, the servant, when you asked him, he was like, oh my God, why did he come back? And when he came back home, he was like happy to be back with his wife and family. And he said, thank God, the job is done for the day. I hope he doesn't call me for this service so often where I have to prepare so many of things. Now, his attachment is with his kids. The lady's attachment is with her husband, but both did a fantastic job. So when we work, whether we have an attachment to work or not, we can still perform it well. Their attachment is somewhere else, but they are still able to bring in their best game when it comes to cooking. So that tackles the question that people have. If I'm not thinking about my work, or I'm not attached to the outcome, or if my attachment is not there to my work, how will I perform? You can still perform. You can still perform because work is work. Your attachment is somewhere else. So, this question usually comes up when we talk about Karma Yoga. So hopefully this story sheds light on this topic. Now let's move on and get to the topic of our discussion, Sanchya Atma, that we are going to talk about. Knowledge and faith relationship. Now, on one hand, we have knowledge. Now, you could have all the knowledge in the world, as best as possible, of course. And then on the other hand, we have faith. If knowledge minus faith, if you have knowledge and no faith, it is an intellectual drill. You can have scholastic abilities, but it is just an intellectual drill. Okay, it's not going to bring about transformation. Now, if let's say somebody is there, he likes to love recipes, but he has absolutely no motivation to taste it or try it out. How will that help? Nothing, right? That faith will basically not the faith aspect of it. They have not experienced it. And faith basically, in whatever you do, if you do things without faith, you just limit it to the intellectual aspect or the knowledge aspect only, then you're missing the point here. It becomes an intellectual drill at that point. And then on the other hand, you have faith, tons of faith, but minus knowledge. Then it becomes sentimentality alone, which is good, but then it is also a little, on a shaky foundation. So both knowledge and faith are needed. They are mutually reinforcing, but both have to go hand in hand. The why aspect of why you are gaining, why do you need to build faith has to be important. Otherwise, when you're not intellectually convinced about something, you're on a shaky foundation, you can get blown off. It's like that sapling where it can sway either way until it has gotten firm roots through the strength of knowledge, and then it can stand on its own and survive basically, or endure the challenges that might come along the way. Yes, Anya, you had a question?
Yeah, quickly. So knowledge is necessary for building faith, but is knowledge sufficient for building faith?
No. So faith, nishtha aspect of it, this initial thing has to come from you. If you look at faith, you have to exert your free will somewhere, right? You have to exert your free will. And then when you exert your free will and then gain knowledge, that will keep on getting reinforced. But when you get into the advanced level of faith, of course, God's grace is needed along that way as well, right? That nishtha aspect of it, because Lord Krishna himself is telling in Bhagavad Gita, I sit in your buddhi and firm up your faith. So without God's grace, even faith, faith needs what you call that ingredient of God's grace to make it solidified as well. But that initial faith is needed for us to at least get started on this path. That's where exertion of our free will, choosing something and asking the right questions for the right reasons is important. But the advanced level of faith is not something which is within our capability. That God only does that. He sits in our buddhi and makes it nishtha that yes, it is. You are right. Well, that comes with God's grace only. But it's important to acquire knowledge as well. Like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had said, when it comes to acquiring scriptural knowledge, don't be lazy. Don't be lazy that I've been through it, I know it. Never be lazy. You might have heard it, 1,000 times, but still that concept would not have gotten drilled into you, because this knowledge is pretty profound. And until we become God realized, we cannot become lazy in acquiring knowledge at all. This is the very simple principle. You have to continue listening to the same thing over and over and over and over again, because when the moment will come, you will see how knowledge slips us. Right? It can slip us very quickly. When the moment of anger will come, when the moment of letting go will come, when the moment of acceptance will come, you will be challenged, your mind will challenge you. And then you will realize, that knowledge has not yet become a realization as yet. That can happen. Your rebound will be quicker, but it's still a bit of a journey. That's why knowledge is very important. Okay, so with that, let's move on and look at this ocean. We have spoken about it, the boat. So this ocean, vast ocean, is the material world. The boat of knowledge is needed. Knowledge is the only way which will enable you to navigate through it. If you don't have knowledge, it's very, very difficult. It's a very risky proposition here in this world. Okay, so that is where knowledge comes in. Not handy, it is a must-have basically on this path. So the spiritual knowledge, when I talk about knowledge, that is spiritual knowledge is needed, which will help you navigate through this Bhav Sagar, or this vast ocean of material existence that we are in right now. This is Bhavatavi, right? Saint Markandeya had asked Lord Krishna that what is this Maya? Right? And then there was a deluge of ocean, and he saw himself drowning, his family drowning, and then he was like, oh my God, what's happening? He started worrying, this, that, until that everything was drowned. And then finally there was a little boy on the leaf sucking his own thumb, foot thumb. That was Lord Krishna, right? Vatasya patrasya puteshyanam. That's where that verse came in. I think that is Ashtakam, Mukund Ashtakam, which came Bal Mukund. So he said, this is what Maya is. You keep tossing around in the waves of this ocean and then getting worried. Sometimes this is happening, that is happening, the attachments, the anxieties, the worries. Finally, God is only there, right? That is what Maya is. A spiritual knowledge is what will give us the right tools, right mindset to navigate through this. Also, this knowledge, what does it does? It turns the reactions of our past deeds into ashes. Okay, so when you subscribe to divine knowledge, like we are doing with Bhagavad Gita right now, it will turn your past reactions into ashes as well. Okay, because Lord Krishna considers it as a sacrificial fire of sacrifice. You are doing an intellectual sacrifice. You are actually not going by your intellect, but you are actually aligning to this spiritual knowledge. And when we do that, it starts burning our reactions as well. And simply by remaining in touch with it, we become sansiddha, the one who has attained perfection. Okay, that is the power of this pure knowledge, so to say. Like anything that we consign to fire, does the fire become dirty? It does not become dirty. The thing becomes pure. Anything that is consigned to fire, that thing becomes pure. So here, what are you consigning to? What is the fire? Fire is the divine knowledge. We're trying to understand that principle. What are you consigning to it? Your intellect, which is right now a bit impure. It has its own impurities. So when you align to that, when you are in touch with it, it'll start burning. That is the effect it starts having. Okay, that is the beauty of this knowledge. When the small rivulets, they empty themselves into Ganges, does Ganges become those rivulets? No, the rivulets become Ganges. It's the same thing. When you are emptying your intellect into the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, it starts becoming divine. It starts becoming pure, because these are the words of God, right? That you are putting faith in. So that is the power of this knowledge, spiritual knowledge. And if you remain in touch with it, of course, auspicious things will happen and it will have a transformative effect as well. Let's move on. Now, let's look at this graph. Our scriptures talk about there are 3 types of spiritual aspirants. Sadhaks, in Hindi they call it sadhak. What are these? So we will plot it against knowledge and firm faith. Okay. And this is both knowledge and firm faith are needed for happiness, peace, and our spiritual progress. Okay, this both are needed on this path. Now, of course, because it's a graph, there are different categories or the quadrants that you see. The top class sadhaks, they have firm good knowledge and firm faith, right? More on the bordering of that nishtha aspect that we spoke about. They are top class sadhak because their faith is backed by knowledge and their knowledge is supplemented with faith. Both go hand in hand. They are called top class or the top notch sadhaks. Then come the medium class sadhak. Their faith is on the higher side, but their knowledge is, a bit on the lower side. Not so deep when it comes to the Tattva Gyan aspect of it. So they are called medium class sadhak. And as you can guess, then the lowest class sadhaks they have neither faith nor knowledge. Okay. They don't have faith, they don't have knowledge. And that is the one that Lord Krishna is tackling here. He's talking about Sanshayatma Vinashyati. They are the ones who are ever doubtful because they don't have knowledge and they don't put an effort to gain knowledge. So that doubts always remain. In fact, the doubts in our scriptures are referred to as demons, and they keep on becoming powerful over time. If you don't tackle them, if you don't slay them systematically, they keep on becoming more and more powerful until those doubts become our reality and that mindset becomes our nature, and we end up becoming skeptical and challenging pretty much anything and everything related to spirituality. And then we end up becoming, remaining in this lowest quadrant, lowest class sadhak, Sanshayatma Vinashyati, which leads us to unhappiness, dissatisfaction, not only in the current life, but also the lives thereafter. Why lives thereafter? Anybody knows why? Anybody wants to tackle that question? Why lives thereafter? Okay, this is I understand, but why lives thereafter? Anybody wants to take that question? Yes, Sandhya.
Whatever we do will impact our future lives, right? In this life, whatever we do, the sanskars, we will carry them forward.
Yes, that is true. That's true. Anybody else who wants to add anything? So let's say we have a certain mind, right, or a mindset in this life. Now, what happens to that mind? Let's say we come back as humans, best case scenario, back-to-back life, or worst case scenario, 8.4 million. Medium case scenario, maybe, somewhere between 0 to 8.4 million. We get a chance in between, fast-tracked to some extent. What happens then? What happens is the mind, the quality of mind that we have, we repeat with it. Okay, there is no doing away with it just like that. Like you do a hard reboot of a computer, uh, it's not like that. You repeat with the same mind. And when you repeat with the same mind, if you are of a skeptical nature, you will repeat with a skeptical mind. So whatever work we have done on our mind, it accompanies our soul as a subtle body. And that subtle body will manifest depending upon the gross body that you get. That mind will not manifest if you become an elephant. Okay, that gross body, because you have taken a different gross body, but it will manifest in due course of time when you become a human. Same mind will repeat at that time. And then you'll have to tackle the same mind even then. So what happens is in the previous life, you were skeptical, you will not have easy faith even in this life. And that story will continue. So it's a little bit like, why doesn't it get reset? I think one of the questions that was asked to Maharajji was, people go to Ganga. Right? If they go to Ganges and they take a dip in Ganges, So when they take a dip in Ganges, they say all your sins will get washed away. If that was the case, then why don't the fish that live in Ganges become God realized? All of them should become God realized, right? One dip should take care of all the sins. So then Maharaji, being Jagat Guru Tam, he answered that question. Okay. So he gave an example that you take some polluted water, cork it, and put it in Ganges. Okay. And put it there for 10 days or 100 days, however you wish. And then take it out, open the cork and drink. Will you do that? Has that water become Ganges? It hasn't. Why? Because even though people take a dip in Ganges, they don't, that is only from their gross body. Only when they take that dip from their mind will they truly become sanctified, like Ganges. So if you truly believe Ganges is divine, it is going to wash away my sins, and you do that, it may. So when you bathe your mind in Ganges, that's when it will get cleansed. Just by doing a physical drill, Har Har Gange will not make you change basically. But then, anyways, it can do only so much. So you have to bathe your mind in that. So similarly, when we go from this world, depart from this world, the mind is still the same. It's not that God is going to wash it and give it back to you. You have not yet immersed it in God, and you have to carry it. And this mind is the reason for our bondage and liberation, anyways, scriptures are telling us. So we repeat with the same quality of mind, and that is why Lord Krishna is saying, Na lokosti na paro sukham, neither in this life, and then you repeat with the same mind in your next life, and you have to deal with the same challenges in your next life as well. So one day you have to wake up and make a resolve that I have to work on it. I have to put faith, intelligent faith, not a blind faith, going with feelings alone, and then start making progress. If you don't do that, nobody is in a hurry. God is certainly is not in a hurry, right? He has seen our infinite lives. He said, be my guest, take another life, another life, another life, and that saga will continue. But he's very clearly telling in this shloka that a skeptical mind will not take you very far. And if your mind troubles you, then you need to systematically start tackling it and pray to God that give me faith in a direction which is actually benefiting and uplifting for me. Not a faith, kind of a blind faith where your spiritual journey can become endangered, but faith in a direction for the right reason so that your spiritual journey gets on track and it is helpful to us in our lifetimes to come as well, not just in this lifetime. So little bit of progress that we make in our current life is actually a big leap or a big success from God's standpoint, right? You may think one person has created only one painting or one symphony in his entire life, and he's a grand failure. But from God's standpoint, it could be a success because soul has taken a bit of a jump. And this jump in the journey of faith, if we can take and start working on it, it could be multiples, I mean, millions of lifetimes jump. This much of a jump, or change in our thought process is very difficult to bring about. So what is the most difficult thing to bring about in this world is the change in our antakaran, the quality of antakaran, right? When we come in contact with saints, if they can improve that quality even a little bit, that itself is a big success from God's standpoint because it doesn't happen so easily. We are stuck, and we are stuck holding on to our unworthiness forever. In fact, we do more damage than good in some of our lifetimes where we started, might have started here, but could have gone there, deepening some of those sanskars and that have not been very beneficial. So that is the reason why Lord Krishna is saying that a skeptical mind will make you struggle not only in this life, but in lifetimes to come as well. And when we struggle, it takes us further away from peace and happiness that we have been seeking. Now, recipe, I like this one. It's like attaining divine love is the recipe from the kitchen of Krishna. What are the ingredients? Human form, guru, devotional service, and the directions are you take human form. You don't take you are picked up to be born as a human, so we should be very grateful. Not everybody gets a human form. And Manushya Janam, right? If we think about it, it's one of the greatest privileges one can have, one of the graces of God, right? Having a human form, having a guidance from a saint, and having a devotional spark. These are the three graces God can do. There's no more grace. And the fourth one is giving a birth in Bharat. Okay, that is also a grace, by the way. Beyond that, God cannot do anything, because after that, you only have to do whatever you have to do. And then find Guru, add faith to it, surrender to Guru, engage in devotional service, attain divine love. So this is how the process will unfold. Okay, so faith or Shraddha is this is the secret ingredient along the path. And if you lack this, that is the thing that you're always missing. They always say, right, something is missing. Everything is fine. One ingredient, that faith, is missing. And that faith, until we make it 100%, of course, we are also we may not be on that extreme spectrum of Sanshayatma, but we are also on Sanshayatma so far, which is not, that is why we have not completed the journey as yet. But a pure Sanshayatma, it's very bad. At least we need to make some progress in this human life on that aspect. So with that said, I'll take a quick pause. Any questions on what we have spoken about today on this topic? We'll keep building on this in coming sessions. The more aspects of it, we are going to dissect this shloka verse by line, word by word, and add some more colors to it as well through some more examples. Yes, Sandhya.
So I have one question with respect to the previous slide. The person who is in the top left quarter, will they also be 12th class sadhak?
Who have a lot of knowledge, but low on faith. They are more scholastic, basically. Maybe they didn't consider it as a sadhak at all. They are just scholars, basically, right? A lot of knowledge, but very low on faith. Doesn't help, actually. In fact, they will also come in low class sadhaks only, because they will have a lot of pride. Knowledge only leads to pride. If you don't understand the deeper principles, you don't have faith, yeah, it'll only lead to pride. But yeah, they will also fall into, I mean, it has not been categorized here, but I would say they're also low class sadhaks only. No, they're not even sadhaks. If you don't have faith, then what's the point, right, of acquiring knowledge?
But
It's a means to,
right, but the idea of acquiring knowledge, if it is to get faith, how does one
true.
really evaluate if they are getting faith or not? And what
Just
can
if
be
somebody,
apart from getting knowledge?
it's only God and Guru would know that. Nobody can evaluate that. It's an individual question, basically. Am I just focusing on knowledge, or am I doing something with that knowledge to enhance, deepen my faith also? Right? But pure knowledge can also be an impediment, like they call about Shastra Vasana. That can also happen. You may get stuck up in knowledge only. A lot of pundits, if you go to them, they do it so many times that they get stuck at that level only. I know this, I know that, not beyond that, because they don't get the benefit of a guru who can tell them that, okay, now you're getting stuck. It's important that, you shed all this acquisition of knowledge thing, the pride and the dopamine kick that it gives you when you say it in front of so many people, and start focusing on the real thing. A little bit of faith is much better than tons of knowledge. But nobody can know that. Only God and Guru would know that. But yes, on this graph, I don't know where they will fall. Will they be classified as sadhaks? Maybe somewhere in the low class sadhaks only, I would say. But faith is the key thing.
Okay, Pratusha ji, Radhe Radhe.
Yeah, Pratusha.
Radhe Radhe. I have a small thing to say. I was just thinking about how the purification is happening when you attach your mind to God. So, thing is, like, if you consider like infinity symbol, your mind is always going to the past, future, worry, or some happiness. So always. So when you are actually thinking about God, it is coming to the present moment. Oh, no, I don't have to think about it. Let's think about this. Let's think about this. Like that, naturally, when you're working, also that is what is coming. Let me focus on this. Let me not worry. Let me not worry. So like that, you're like unknowingly we are trying to ride over our negative thoughts. So
True.
that way, that purification is happening without us knowing. So that happens in all the services that we do also. We are unknowingly doing that, putting the
True.
mind
Very
to
true.
God.
And I'll add some more color to that. See, when we have to let's say there's something dirty. If we have to clean it, what do we need to do? We need to put it to something which is clean,
Clean.
which is pure. So let's say we have to clean a dirty cloth. Now, if you have to clean a dirty cloth and if you put it in a contaminated water, it will become even more dirty. So what we need to put it in fresh water, a clean water, and apply detergent on top of it, right? That will clean it up. And in this world, if you look at it, what is pure? Everything in Maya is Triguni. It's tainted with three colors of Maya, which is Sattva, Tamas, and Rajas. Even if you are tainting it, putting it in Sattva, you are still coloring it further. And only thing that is beyond these three gunas is God, God or Guru. God has given, say, five more things to you, right, as a variety: Naam, Roop, Gun, Leela, Dham. So God and Parikar. Parikar includes the saints as well. So if you think about these things in your mind, then you are applying that clean water, which is beyond the three gunas, and the detergent as well. And then it will automatically, so when you attach something to pure, it will automatically do its effect, right? So for example, even if an iron filing is there and you start bringing it in contact with the magnet, it will start acquiring that properties. Why? By virtue of being close proximity to it. So same thing, when your mind, you are attaching your mind to God, even though you can't see God, you're simulating it in your head, you get credit for that. Then you're attaching to something pure. And when you attach to something pure, of course, you'll get pure. It's a very simple principle. If you attach to something, even though it might be sattvic, noble, but it is still tainting you with the colors of sattva
Maya.
or the color
Yes.
of rajat or the color of tamas. So either world or God, either something impure or pure. So when you attach to something to pure, it will become pure, and the same thing goes with the divine knowledge as well.
Yes. So that is what, like, the previous question, the what happens when you become too much full of knowledge, and then you're not looking at yourself. The only way you can gauge your progress is, I think, you look at yourself. You count. Okay, I see this, or people are telling you have this. Whatever, you work on yourself. Otherwise, you're
True.
and you said that Nishta comes from Anartha Nivritti. So simply, you
True.
know where you are standing.
True. We need God's grace on that. And then knowledge aspect is also sattva. And Swamiji was telling that for us to give up the bliss of sattva is even more harder because it's a higher level grace. Right? If you look at it in material world, it is the highest level of material bliss, the bliss of sattva. When you start getting that bliss, the bliss from having knowledge and doing something good and all that, that is even more difficult to get over because now you feel, even more that I'm doing good already. I'm already reading scriptures. I'm already helping people. I'm already doing charity. So that bliss can be even more binding because difficult to overcome than the bliss that you get from rajas, good food, and other things, and tamasic and stuff like that. Because there you can see clearly. In this it can become even more difficult to sail over because your intellect would tell you, I'm already doing good.
The fine
Yeah,
balance.
good point. Yeah, thank you. Yes, Sandhya.
So, as part of self-introspection, if someone is constantly feeling that they have not developed the faith, and maybe it could be a reflection of their humility, and if that takes them to the other direction of, feeling bad about it, sad about it, and feeling like how to what do you think about that?
See, first of all, you got to be realistic about it. The very fact that somebody is able to introspect is a sign of progress, right? So we cannot be too harsh on this. Well, that is fine. If you feel bad, it is a good thing. Feeling bad is good, but not that you become paralyzed and get stuck in that only, right? We understand and then we systematically work on it, do something about it. And now at least we are able to challenge it. That itself is a sign of progress. Otherwise, previously one would have not even challenged it. They would have gone through the motions as if it was normal. But yes, systematically work on it. That see, knowledge is great, but then we need to work on the faith aspect of it, and then see what would enable to do that. Because life will keep on giving us opportunities to exercise our faith. It's not that one person can complain that, hey, I'm not getting enough opportunities to exercise my faith. Somebody else is getting more. No, everybody gets equal opportunities. And then see again yourself, did I have a better acceptance, or did I maintain that tranquility or peace when the situation was stressful? Did I practice let go, or did my mind get agitated when the situation comes? So all those things we have to tackle on a day-to-day basis, right? That's where knowledge comes in. Or map it to a shloka that we have heard in Bhagavad Gita and say, hey, this mapped, but I need to deepen that understanding because I did not work, behave as that shloka would have told me in this particular situation. Like when we talk about Karma Yoga, God is talking about, focus on the process, don't think about results. There'll be tons of opportunities to, like when we talk about anger, there are tons of opportunities that will come along our way. When it comes about acceptance, there'll be tons of opportunities in our relations, day-to-day life. So then we introspect and work on those aspects mindfully and say, my knowledge is there, but then when it comes to practicing it, I'm lacking there. So let me pick up on this aspect and practice it for next 7 days or 10 days, whatever works for us. Right? But at least that understanding is there, that door is opened where you want to work on yourself and you feel dissatisfied with your current state. That itself is a sure sign of progress. I would build on that more. And then systematically we can pick up, this is an aspect I need to improve on my nishkamta. You know what? Next time when I'm going to do some seva, even if I don't get acknowledged, or even if my name doesn't come out, or nobody comes to know about it, I'm not going to feel bad because God and Guru are watching. So there are tons of opportunity each one of us has throughout our days, throughout our lives. We pick up only one or two things and start working on those. That is the only way to bridge the gap between knowledge and wisdom. But at least spark is there. That itself is a great sign of progress, right? Problem is where you go to a doctor and you don't even know what the problem is, then how are you going to fix it? So yes, if we feel that there is a bigger gap between my knowledge and then we pick up on things and keep working on them. And Maharaj ji had given a very nice way of working and improving on yourself. He said that before you go to sleep, just introspect for 2-3 minutes. What are the things where I could have done, or done differently, where all I erred, I could have done a better job. And you would know intuitively. And next day, make a resolve. You don't have to spend a lot of time, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and say, hey, these are the things I'll try to be better at. And then again, before going to sleep, again reflect on, okay, these where all you went wrong today, where all you could have handled it, tackled it better, and again make a resolve. And when you do this practice, the change will start coming in. God wants to help us. He just wants us to be sincere about it, and then of course we'll get help around it. Okay, any more questions?
Wonderful, thank you. There
Please
are
fill out the tracker if you get a chance, if you have not posted it. And like I said, we will continue with these sessions. We'll have shorter session. We'll cut down on the initial recitation and cover it for about 45-50 minutes because we have discourses, starting Swamiji's discourses on the retreat, Banara retreat that is going on. That's where I am right now over the next few days. So we'll utilize 30-40 minutes and then we'll have the best of both worlds. Okay, sessions will continue and retreat also you can attend. So yeah.
Yeah, and that like reminds me to just reiterate, the retreat starts today, within few hours, 11:30 p.m. CST and 12 noon IST. And the topic of the retreat is Ram Katha Rahasya. And everybody can attend it either online or offline. So do not miss out on that. It is going to be very, very rich devotionally.
Yeah.
And there are two comments, Nitinji. Should I read them?
Yeah, sure.
So Smitaji says faith in self is also necessary, or every time introspection will confuse you, was I wrong or what I did is right. Arjun has faith in scriptures but not in self, so did not want war, but Bhagwan was his counselor.
Yes, if we are like Arjun and we take a birth in Bhagwan's avatar call, then we'll get the benefit of God, right? Himself telling us. So when we talk about faith, see, our faith in our intellect is doing our undoing us basically. We need to have, just give me a sec. I think somebody's here. Give me a sec. Just hold on for a sec.
No problem. Yeah, please fill out the feedback tracker. I've shared the link in the chat. And also shared the link for registration of the Shivir. So some people asked me in the chat if the video recordings will be available, the Swamiji's lectures, they will be available, but only for those who have registered for the Shivir. So if you cannot watch it at the time when Swamiji is delivering the lecture, you can watch them later, but only if you are registered. So make sure you register and attend the Shivir and take the advantage. Yes, Nitinji.
Sorry. Yeah, so I was saying the faith aspect of it. Faith we have to on our mind and our intellect right now is not perfect, right? So we need to take guidance from Guru if we have one. If we don't have one, then of course we have to carry our, like we always say, the purity of intention and sincerity at heart, right? If it is something you are trying to take a judgment on a particular action against somebody, or how you dealt with somebody, or what you are going to do in a particular situation, you don't have a guru, you don't have Krishna like Arjun had, then you do it with a purity of intention, right? That intuitively you would know why you're doing it, for what reason are you doing it. That is your best insurance policy in that kind of a scenario. If you have an access to a guru and you think you can directly get guidance in that, go for it. If you don't have it, then you do it with your sincerity of heart, and then God will note it down and give you credit for that as well. That's the best we can do in that kind of a thing. But yes, if we rely, there are times then we have to scold our mind, and there will be times you'll even have to scold your intellect as well. As you would see in this journey, because it will give your intellect and mind will never give judgment against itself. Even if it is wrong, the way it is conditioned, it will never give judgment against its own self. It will never tell you that you are wrong. It will always try to justify it. And that is it. This knowledge comes in handy to dismantle some of those conditionings that we have built over time. But until we don't have the benefit of what we should be doing, we just need to carry our sincerity and purity at heart. That's all we can do, and pray to God that give me guidance in these kind of situations. But intuitively, we would know, why we're doing it. For what reason are we doing it? Am I doing it for my self-interest? Am I doing it for the larger interest? Am I doing it for my ego? Am I doing it for somebody's welfare? All that answer you will get. See, even with anger, they say when you do it with love, if you do it with love, I mean, not everybody can do it. When the moment comes, it doesn't work that way, right? But if you do it with love, you'll not become angry, right? In that case, you want the welfare of other person. Why would you become angry in that case? When you want welfare or other person, you would tackle it much differently. But with the reason you become angry is it's not about the other's welfare. It's all about not enjoying your, but venting it out, or getting that dopamine kick out of it. But if it is done with love, that anger, there is no question of anger in that case. You generally want somebody's welfare in that case. So our intention, that is the best guiding compass in that, not guiding compass, but insurance policy. But intuitively, you would know. End of the day, when you are, going to sleep, you would know whether what you did was born out of the best interests, or some kind of a vested interest was at play. You will get that idea. And that's where we need to pray to God to give us strength to do the right thing, not necessarily the thing that is making it easy for us. Okay.
I had a follow-up thought as well. Like you pointed out, Guru. So, one thought is that we may acquire some bits of theoretical knowledge, but Guru becomes essential for it to become internalized realizations, which will really help in making our faith firm and stronger and converting it to Nishtha.
True. That always helps. If we get a guru, that will definitely accelerate the process, right? Because when you come in contact, guru is also working on you, right? And that definitely accelerates the process depending upon the level of faith and surrender that you practice. So that is definitely helps. There's no two ways about it. That is importance of having guru in life as well. I think the key thing in this shloka is not to be sanchayatmak, right? People who are skeptical. In fact, I was, previously I would get into discussions and stuff with people on this topic. But then another thing I would tell you through my own experience is that people who are skeptical and you kind of get it, it's important to avoid that with them, right? They will only go against scriptural principles and against God as well to prove their point. And in the process, what will happen is rather than them benefiting, you will end up derailing their journey further because they will end up doing a lot of spiritual transgressions and amaparats in the process. So let's say you go to a non-believer, somebody who is skeptical, and try to talk about it. Normally they were neutral. Okay, they wouldn't have spoken about this topic on that day. Now, because you initiated that topic, they will end up saying 10 things which will take their journey backward even further. So you're not actually helping them, you're derailing them. They'll end up doing Nyamaparad and all that spiritual transgressions in the process. So that is another thing that needs to end. And it took me a while to understand that part, what? I'm truly not helping them, but making it worse for them by picking up this topic with them. And it can happen. But through experience, we'll know. So people who are receptive to it, that doesn't mean we don't talk about it to anybody. Who knows, somebody might be receptive and they pick up on this path. But for people who are genuinely skeptical, it's a little tricky to get into discussions with them. People, it can be counterproductive for them in that sense.
And there's another comment, like in relation to what you said, it can probably counterproductive to the person who's speaking as well. Like this statement
True.
suggests that one
True.
drop of one drop of poison makes the whole container of milk poison, and not the other way. Bad things or people can do more harm than the good things can do good.
True. Who said that? That's very nice.
Raviji.
Yes, Raviji, that's true. We are also not immune to that, right? Who knows? They may end up sowing a seed of doubt in your head, and that doubt may start manifesting after a while. So yeah, we need to protect our sadhana as well. It can happen too, the other way around as well. Great, we have 3 more minutes. So like I said, we will continue with our sessions. We'll do a shorter session, maybe around 45 minutes, 45, 50 minutes, not more than that. So we'll cut down on 2 segments. One is the shloka recitation, and then the devotional segment will pick up on it in 2024 after we do our roundabout time when we do our 3-year anniversary of Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita is going to become a toddler very soon. Yes, Preeti ji.
Radhe Radhe Preeti ji.
Radhe, I think in my personal life, I was continuously judging people because I didn't have the knowledge, and I had a lot of issues with in-laws and family members almost all my life, with all the traumas I had and everything. Because of a lot of lower feelings I had, I ended up, like Swamiji said, if your Manomaya Kosha is not right, then it will show up physically. So in my opinion, my cancer showed up as that part of being not feeling right and all that. But during that cancer, I received a lot of knowledge from Swamiji through YouTube videos, and it was so simple and practical. And I never knew about attachment, detachment, nothing like that. It just was sent to me by God's grace. Like until then, I didn't have God's grace. I had a lot of faith, but somehow the little grace was missing, the knowledge was missing. So once I got the knowledge and went through a lot of and continuously growing within myself, I'm like, right now the same people are living under one roof again, and we are having amazing time, and everybody's happy. They're having the best time of their life, and it's the same person for all this year. It's my way of looking at it with that divine knowledge change. So it's just truly have transformed me so much that it's the words cannot express how important it is. Like it's like paros money. Basically, I was like a iron, and I was touched by Divine Knowledge by Swamiji, and it just phenomenal. So just wanted to share that,
Thank
knowledge
you.
and came together. It really
True.
formed good chemistry with the same people. And right now, every day I have like 10 people in my family, and everybody's enjoying in Christmas time. And I'm like, I have seen the same holidays before where there was so much tension, so much like, oh my God, they're coming and it's going to turn into a chaos, disaster.
Yep.
So
Thank you, Preeti ji, for sharing that. Very true. That is where this knowledge is so powerful because it works at the root. Right? You spoke about Manomay Kosh. In fact, that is where even the diseases they start. The inception of a disease starts from our man only, the thought only. Right? When Lord Rama had asked Sage Vashisht, what is Vyadhi? And he said, it all starts here. Everything starts here. And spirituality works at the root directly. It's directly working at our mind level, right? How to cleanse it, how to make sure it becomes a fertile grounds for wholesome, productive thoughts, and it becomes pure. So thank you for sharing that. That's where, I mean, I'm glad you're realizing the benefit and living it every day now. This knowledge is truly transformational, truly powerful, right? It just changes your perspective completely. You've seen those drawings. I don't know what do they call them, where there's a picture. It's a blend of two pictures. In one picture, you'll see an old lady, and on the other hand, the same picture, if you look at it from a different way, it's a young woman, right? So really depends on what you are looking at, how you're looking at, and that is where spirituality, this knowledge, helps us to see world in a different perspective altogether. The world will still the same, like you're saying, Preeti ji. The people are still the same, relatives are still the same, but the way you look at it has changed. And drishti badalti hai to srishti badal jati hai. When you change your perspective, the world changes or aligns around it as well. So thank you. So very nice, good engaging discussion, everyone. If you have any more questions, put it in the feedback tracker. We'll have some shortened sessions tomorrow, starting tomorrow, maybe 15 minutes less. But I look forward to your participation, and we'll go really deep into the shloka, okay, over the next 2 or 3 sessions, so that we can not only understand the importance of building faith in our life, but also understand why it is important to stay away from being skeptical, even to the knowledge that may not make sense to you right now. Okay, stay away from skepticism. Take a few things on face value, work on what has made sense for you, and keep progressing. That is the key. All right. So with that said, Prabhat, good to see Meera as well. Thank you. Sharing. Monica ji has turned on her video as well. Monica ji, we are missing you here. Everybody's having a good time. You couldn't make it in your flight last moment, but I can see a lot of familiar faces here. Urvi is going to join us tomorrow, and we'll probably have a group picture of Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita participants one of these days. And Payal ji has turned on. Are you on your way? Possible.
Radhe Radhe Payal ji.
Radhe Radhe Payal ji.
Yes, Radhe, Radhe, Radhe.
You're going to
Are you
Yes, I'll be reaching. Yes,
Oh,
yes. Reaching tomorrow.
reaching tomorrow, right? Right. Shanti ji, you had a question. Look forward to meeting you, Payal ji. I see a lot of familiar faces already, so it's a wonderful part of the world. I mean, if you're in India or even otherwise plan to attend one of these retreats, the vibrations here are pretty amazing. Very nice, tranquil place. I mean, you just have to be here to soak in the vibrations. So I'm looking forward to the retreat. So it's a very nice experience here. Yes, Shanti ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe Shanti ji.
And let me show you my
Radhe
room as
Radhe ji.
yeah,
Hello.
yeah. Radhe Radhe.
Ji, I have a doubt because I'm not in a flow of attending the class sessions. Recently, I've been connected. So, what if I'm attending like whatever the sessions there is an announcement coming from the group. I'm attending. I'm trying to attend all the sessions. So, is it the right way to do, or we have to pick some proper Bhagavad Gita session from starting to, because I don't know whether it is an
No,
the
you're
content.
fine. Are you in CIC group? Or if not, we will add you. Put it in the feedback tracker. I'll add you to that group. See, we are in 4.40 right now, and it has taken us 3 years to get here. So you can imagine the pace at which we are going. So be rest assured, you can continue here. We will cover the length and breadth of Bhagavad Gita multiple times. Okay, so you will not miss out on anything fundamental. Okay, we continue discussing stuff, and all the fundamental stuff that is needed for you to continue progressing will be discussed so many times in these sessions that you will be perfectly comfortable after a couple of months. So it's never too late to attend these sessions. That much I can tell you.
Sure,
And just
sure.
to add, Shantiji, we also have recordings of the previous sessions. There are different playlists as well, which you can navigate through. So check that out. I've posted the link in the chat. Okay.
Okay, so with that, I think it's time for the retreat now. So thank you, everybody. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Radhe Radhe, good night, good day from my side. See you, everyone. Bye.
Radhe Radhe, everyone. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow.